It's the Feature Crew with Jacob Braunschweiger, Chris Oslin, Dylan Hallew. And now, here's the Feature Crew.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Feature Crew Live. We have an exciting week. It's GPT 5.4 release week. And we put our initial reaction video up yesterday, but we're going to be spending most of the live today on GPT 5.4. And there are a couple news stories that deserve a little bit of discussion. But for the most part, GPT 5.4 live build. We'll have multiple codex instances running so we can get the most exciting stuff for y'all. We know it takes a while for these models to run, which is part of the value, but also part of the challenge in presenting them live. So let's dive right in. Dylan, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. So let's chat 5.4 first. So let me get up the blog post so we can dive in. So you can take a look at React video that we put out. But in short, this is like a long-running kind of thinking model. They call out very clearly that, we think it's an efficient frontier model for professional work, which is an interesting posing. For our video yesterday, we tried to focus on having a new test where there was a 3D bench, which was really trying to do the end-to-end cycle of start from a spec and move all the way through to getting something out. And it had some like fantastic results where it was able to make slides and do literature review. And again, this was all in Codex. So it's like almost like calling through the API. It's not like it was in ChatGPT with like, Canvas and stuff like that. It was literally the model was capable of doing web search, having taste in terms of how it should present this work. So that was fantastic. We were just using GPT 5.4 with very high reasoning. We weren't using GPT 5.4 Pro, but I've seen some promising stuff about that as well. And I think 5.4 will obviously be the workhouse model. So yeah, that's what we'll be testing and playing around with later on. So let's go through the blog post. They talk about it being advances in reasoning. It is kind of weird that they skipped 5.3. Like they went 5.2 and then 5.3 instant sometime this week, if I'm not mistaken. And now it's 5.4. But regardless,
5.3 instant was Tuesday, so it was like a quick turnaround.
Yeah, they were just like, skip. Because it was like 5.3 Codex was obviously like the best Codex model. Now we have 5.4. So a little strange, but they're talking about, industry-leading coding capabilities of 5.3 Codex. The naming conventions are going to be weird this year, but regardless, moving past that, they talk about how it's trying to bring the advances in reasoning, run longer. There's all this talk about agentic workflows and stuff like that. So in short, it's like they're posing this to be running long on basically any task, right? Or not any task, but tasks that are like, frankly, white collar work, which is like a very common trend that we're seeing. It gives you an upfront plan and you can adjust course mid-response. I'm not really sure if this means it's like baked in like SFT to the model. You can kind of do this already in like Codex, like stare the model. I don't know if that was just like a 5.3 Codex and stuff like that on. But they're talking about like, hey, like it's going to run for a while. There's going to be a plan and you can stare the plan, which is like directionally what everyone's going towards, right? Like long run execution. It does do 1 million tokens of context and it has state-of-the-art computer use capabilities. We demoed last week on the live stream that we're going to have a new benchmark that incorporates computer use. And from the very small amount of testing, it seemed good. Like we have a framework that can allow it to run Playwright and actually able to find stock things and find arbitrary websites and do tasks. So that was functioning well. Tool search and connectors. We can even show in Codex that there's all these skills that can be enabled, and all of these are kind of MCP just giving the model the different arms across different surfaces. They talk about it being the most token efficient reasoning model, using significantly fewer tokens to solve problems compared to 5.2, which is interesting. I don't know. It's very hard to quantify that. But regardless, I will take that at face value for now. And then they give some benchmarks. So there's knowledge work. There was a few. This knowledge work stuff is very interesting. I saw quite a lot of tech Twitter blog on this. Basically, it's kind of if you're this kind of industry expert, you're starting to get to the point where like the model is like better than a lot of knowledge workers. And that's a theme we're seeing of like, maybe this goes into the news segment, but there's like a lot of like kind of potential job displacement this year. And it's starting to get to the point where they're almost quantifying like, yeah, if you have an expert working on these, you're kind of getting towards the point where like the model isn't strictly better in all cases, but it's starting to get to a point where like, hey, it's kind of doing better than you think. And especially when it has like playwright and all these other things, it fixes a lot of the problems with like, 6 months ago, we would be like, there's a terminal problem, like there's console error. Now it's very trivial to read console. But then when you start to add this thing of taste, it's like, hey, can I actually like run the thing, take a screenshot, and then improve it? It's starting to get to that point. In our test video yesterday, it still wasn't able to get all the way through improving the visuals. But, we'll see. I think that's going to be something fixed in the next couple of iterations. I don't know if there's anything. Yeah, they focus on spreadsheets and documents and presentations. Again, this is really a focus on professional work, which is a very obvious play because there's been all the coding models, but now these coding models, the rub is it's general, right? You can just run in Codex and do knowledge work like we did yesterday, and it does very well. The slides that we generated, check the video from yesterday, they were good. We were talking about like, 3-6 months ago, they were making intern level slides, and now suddenly it's like, holy shit, like this is like consultant level, like early consultant level, like slides. Like people would pay for that, and it was like a pretty hard problem. I don't know. I can't remember if they had anything big else. And
yeah, just while Dylan's scrolling through here, I wanted to acknowledge some of the early chats.
Yeah,
Ray
please.
Dawson.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat. Glad you're excited to watch. The Noble Rod says, "Happy Friday, nerds! Happy Friday." We are certainly nerds, so welcome to the nerd chat.
Welcome.
And Dewey, is that how I pronounce it? Dewey?
Yeah.
Says, "Sup, big fellas, welcome Dewey." And asks if we've tested 5.4 using the computer yet, or its web use skills. So that's the test that Dylan was referring to before. It wasn't super in-depth. We did like the first stage of the like sort of end-to-end software development task was to start with like a literature review because we were having to develop a benchmark. And so that was a test of its web search. We were very impressed there. And
it was almost like deep research level, and that's just like with 5.4
in Codex.
In Codex. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like through the API, that's how good you can get it. Yeah.
And then on the computer use yet, I think we need to go deeper into the computer use. Like we did have it doing a bit of computer use in the video we posted yesterday on like using the playwright MCP, as Dylan was mentioning, to test its implementation on the city sim prompt, but we weren't seeing like mind-blowing vision, I think was the thing, right? Like because it wasn't computer use is more about like you're stringing together a bunch of actions to actually use the browser. We were struggling with like it wasn't noticing all the problems from the image it was able to capture. It was able to capture the image it needed, but was it seeing the problems, and did it have the right taste to know this is what I need to fix and this is how I need to fix it?
Yeah, and on the point of computer use, like we have some early benchmarking scripts that we run to have it like interact with the web, and it was doing fine. Like we're going to expand those out to be more in depth, but for it to be able to just out the box, if you give it an arbitrary task, like go find the stock price, go and figure out like the wave height of this, or like find I don't know, like you can just give it an arbitrary task on the web that's like a knowledge retrieval task, and it will do it. Which, to be fair, is like great, like impressive, but that's probably table stakes. So we'll probably think of a way of pushing it a bit further, so that they're talking about like, oh, it's best in class native computer use. I think again, this is going to become table stakes. They just have to be able to do this. This is essentially like just working well with like MCP and able to like interact in an environment, which is just a natural thing of thinking. And we tried to emulate in the channel early on with like the maze test and Tower of London, and now it's interesting to see they're getting this world understanding. So we're thinking of ways and incorporate that into our benchmark of measuring this programmatically. Okay, and then we're just other benchmarks about. I guess this is like the tool yield and thing. I think this is trying to be like, oh, it's token efficient. Oh, it can do like computer use and stuff like that. Like we started to see things like this. Like it was able to kind of like navigate well and do like this is more than just knowledge retrieval. It's just like,
we got to put it in like Figma or something hard.
Yeah.
See what it can do there.
Well, that's why the playwright stuff is so interesting, because that's when you're like, hey, there's something wrong, and it like picks it up, it takes a screenshot, and then it's like, if you're like, oh, what does it say, or send this message that's like quite authoritative, but what you really want it to do is like, the open-ended thing would be, go look at the stock market and tell me like what I should invest in. Now, obviously, investing is like a very complicated thing, but that's now the thing of like, given all the information, how do I interpret it? And same for some of our tests where we're like, hey, the city looks bad. Can you fix it? That's what you really want it to like do, right? You don't want to be like, well, the shader was broken, because if I know the shader is broken, I don't need it to like go take a screenshot. Like,
but I guess at the base level, it's like when you're doing like a software development task, it's like go test the UI and make sure the changes you made actually work, right?
Yeah.
Which is like there are two elements here. There's like the ability to actually use the computer to unlock tasks that it couldn't do before, but then it's also like, okay, what's the reasoning strength? And then to the point that Dylan's getting, like when you layer those things on top of each other and you get computer use plus good reasoning plus good taste plus good web search, right? Like all these things together, you can start to unlock these new tasks and get these sort of compounding benefits of a general model. In some ways, I feel like GPT 5.4, at least the way they're pitching it in this blog of like, oh, it's good at all these different things that we used to have specific models for, is kind of the promise of GPT-5. If you remember, like spring and summer last year, they were talking a lot about how like GPT-5 is where it all collapses into one model. And then when GPT-5 came out, well, there was still codecs, and it wasn't clear if operator / ChatGPT agent was running on GPT-5, the normal version that everybody uses in the chat client. And so it's like, it didn't feel actually as collapsed as it was supposed to be. And it, from the technical level, like the end user doesn't really care. Is this multiple models? Is this one model? It's really like, what, as Dylan was saying before, what can you get out of it? And there are things that it seems like when it's the same model and when the different modalities, different types of tasks, different applications are all sort of trained into the same model, you get a better result, like a more sort of human. It's this like sort of qualitative thing that it's hard to actually communicate, right?
Yeah.
I see you pulling up. I also want to note they put the Golden Gate test in here, so I wonder what Peter thinks about this. Shout out to friend of the channel, Peter Gostev, who pioneered the Golden Gate Bridge test.
I was gonna say, I think he did, right? Like that's why I was like, I mean, the theme park sim and got like, this is a lot of the tests that like we and other like friends of like AI testing benchmark like do all these tests. So it's so fascinating to see them then like come in and be like added. And honestly, like when you look at this is kind of similar to like all the results we're getting. Like like it's clipping through and stuff like that, like the cities and stuff like that. I feel like, did they say this is one shot?
Because it's so interesting to say. Like, I mean, they actually took a real result and put it in, because you can see like I don't know what the actual engineering term for it, I'm sure there is one, but like those bars that are supposed to connect the vertical bars, right? They're rotated the wrong way, right? Like they should be rotated 90 degrees on the XZ. And that's like as somebody who does a lot of like 3D with the LLMs, like that is a problem you see a lot. They struggle a lot with rotations. And so like, it would have been trivial for someone to go in and give a specific prompt to say, rotate those things 90 degrees. But it's cool to see that, based on that, it seems to me like that was an actual output.
Yeah.
That they were principled about not screwing with it. So it was like the actual, what the model actually outputted.
Yeah, and then even like, we did a city sim and we started being very blocky when it was making its own sim. This is a theme park simulation game. But we were noticing this design language coming through. It's very weird that it's all like, curved, round corners, this text or type font. I wonder if like every new iteration is going to have a slightly different design language so that when they make these, it looks different. Welcome to the show, Chris. Welcome. So anyway, that was kind of summing up some of the prompts. And then I think they just got, a whole lot of discussion around tool use and stuff like that. Again, we appreciated how well it was doing web search. Web search, steerability. So this is the whole thing of as you can like steer it as you have these long running requests, and requests run a long time. On extra high, we were running for like 30 minutes. It's kind of insane.
I think the top one was 40 something minutes.
Yeah. So being able to steer it makes a lot of sense when you are like, pushing something for so long. And it's interesting that Codex had this kind of first, and now I think it's like shipping over to ChatGPT.com. So interesting that they're kind of like blending. Obviously, I feel like ChatGPT is going to be like the like OS, whereas Codex was kind of more like, hey, it's for coding, it's for like almost like early features, API, and like you get the models early, and then in ChatGPT, it's like, oh, that thing that's been kind of testing for a couple of months on like the newer models. Oh, we're gonna bring that to ChatGPT. Like I there must be this kind of like,
And as you said, Codex had that first. It had it before ChatGPT. This is like a hill that I often die on. Like I want to give props to the GitHub Copilot team because they had it first.
the steering.
And also on the whole Playwright MCP built-in thing, they had that. So they had both steering and the Playwright MCP first. And so it's not like, I mean, I am no longer affiliated with Microsoft, so don't. And I'm happy to shit on Microsoft broadly in any aspect. I love my as a former Microsoft employee, my favorite activity is shitting on Microsoft. But the GitHub Copilot team does awesome stuff, and they often are the first to get to interesting things. Sometimes they even outpace the model, right? And it's okay, the model needs to get here first. So, anyways, but it's cool to see some of these things trickling over, because I'm both a Codex. I mean, I use all of them. I use all the agents, and so it's cool to see some of these like more advanced features starting to proliferate and become table stakes across the different agent platforms. Like no one platform does everything first. They're all kind of like borrowing from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, credit that it came out. It said, "Oh, it comes out in ChatGPT and Codex," but importantly, it was in the API as soon as they announced it. List, because often a couple of the last releases didn't do that, so we could immediately roll out our video. So props to providers who put it on API fast, so we can immediately test. And I think they're going to be talking about like, hey, it's going to be rolling out. Like it's kind of going to be the main state of the art model. Like they probably do some kind of performance thing. I haven't seen it here. It's probably down the bottom of like fast mode. Fast mode was interesting in that, it's not here. Did we like skim over it? Fast mode just talks about here in Codex. Like you can basically turn on fast mode with whack fast, and that just gives it's 1.5x faster token velocity, but I think use 2 times the tokens. So basically you can just run things faster. So but even on fast mode with extra high, it was taking 40 minutes. So do with that what you will. It probably still takes a long time.
Also, that up to is doing a lot of work there.
Yeah,
up to 1.5x faster.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. They're just able to burn your tokens for like you have monthly tokens or weekly tokens faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't look like this is a different model, unlike what was it, 5.3 Spark or something, which was like genuinely, I think, a different model. This is the same model, probably on different hardware, is my assumption.
It's just the Cerberus acquisition showing off now.
I think so.
Well, that does make
at 1.5x faster. Is that really the acquisition, or is that just like
they did something? I think that's the first attempt at integrating.
Yeah.
Well, that was GPT 5.4. We will be getting to hacking on that soon. But I think we had some other news articles to go through. Jacob, do you want to take over?
Yeah, I can take over. I pulled out Chris is our news.
Chris is I
know I left him hanging. Sorry, corporate life and all.
No, it's all good.
But happy to be back. 5.4 cooks, by the way, and some of my own just hacking away. Big fan. It has replaced 4.6 Sonnet for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, to hear first. Soon we'll have feature group benchmark where we can actually definitively give you a score and axes like runtime and token cost and total cost for our data pack. Hoping to have that next week. Soon DM. They keep releasing models too fast. We get so close, and then we have to actually review the model. But yeah, it's interesting. I think we've been seeing pretty good reactions on Twitter. We had a pretty good first reaction, and we'll be going through Planet tonight. I know folks were asking for Planet, so that'd be great to then have that as a comparison point as well. Cool.
So this post, again, Chris, I don't know if you want to give any I don't want to take your topics here. But this was like a multiplayer diffusion model, which is like something that I had said for a while.
Well, this is another Jacob was right, because I think the last time we saw Genie, we were certainly I was. I don't know if anybody else was. I was saying how hard multiplayer must be for this, and it is, because you can tell the graphics are a lot worse. But Hey, they got there a lot faster than I thought they would.
Yeah, and got there is like an interesting, quite like where is there, right?
Right.
It seems like this is sort of again. There's like I haven't dove into the paper if there is a paper. I didn't see a paper link here, but from what I was able to, from this like sort of long, I mean, medium-sized post here, I wasn't able to really glean exactly what they're doing. But it does seem like they talk about shared representations, their editable memory, right? Like, so it's not all happening in the diffusion, right? Like, so they are somehow this map in the middle. I'll pause it. This map in the middle that's showing the locations of different players, and then the overall map seems to be a out of latent space, out of model memory, in the same way that ChatGPT has memory that's like a list of, you know, text memories that it can then reference. This has something like spatial memory where it's saving the locations of the different players and something about their state. You can see that player X, oh no, P1 is dead, player one is dead. And so what I'm guessing is they've found some way to, like, for every frame, pipe in the state that's tracked in their sort of deterministic memory outside of the model, so that they can track things like player location. And in this case, it actually seems like the map, like player location within the world space also, deterministically, and then leave the model as more of a, this is getting towards what we've talked about in the past, where the diffusion model actually serves more as an upscaler, right? Like it's taking, in this case, the lowest possible resolution rendition of a world. Just this is where the walls are, this is where the people are. Unclear if it has any representation of what that world should look like or what those people should look like. And then the diffusion model is responsible for constructing the final frame you see, but there is still something of a minimal game engine running in the background.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I see these academic things, when it's like supports arbitrary number of players, I'm like, really? And do you like, does this really abstract to things that aren't Doom? Like, let's say it has to
No,
be
it
like,
doesn't. And I think they kind of alluded to it not abstracting
okay.
things
Well,
that
that's
aren't Doom.
good. That's
they
good.
were kind of saying like, we're excited for when this isn't just Doom, basically.
Okay.
And,
well, that's good.
And then on the arbitrary number of players, like, yeah, of course it does, because it's like list of entities, and then like each has a transform, right? And so then it's like, you know, so you can add somebody to the list. Now, how many players can you add before the model starts to hallucinate? I mean, like they kind of get around that question. Well, it's hallucinating with like 2 players, so you know.
So I'm like, I get like it's a great headline, but in reality, it's like, what is practical, right? Could you be running 1,000 NPCs in like a Skyrim world? No, right? Like then it's suddenly like you're gonna have a different problem space or a different like solution space.
I think the cool thing here is that the reason that you can't run 1,000 NPCs in a small location in Skyrim is because you're tracking many sort of variables per NPC. And so in this case, what they might be alluding to is that, oh, we're actually just tracking like the position and the direction that they're looking, right? Just based off this little representation in the middle here. Like at a minimum, they're tracking the position,
like position in space, the direction in space
in 2D for these things. So, you know, now like nav meshes are potentially gone, and like the, you know, all the hot, you know, high try count for like a detailed character model, that might be gone, and like all these various things. So that might be what they're alluding to. But then again, it's like, okay, if we zoom back a little bit, like the characters were like fritzing out. Like, I mean, you know, so it's like, yeah, okay, like maybe eventually it supports, you know, this maybe supports N shitty characters, but in the future it might support N good characters, right?
Still fascinating research though. Like it's really cool to see like diffusion be pushed this far, and hopefully it elicits like further research and stuff. Not meaning to like shit on this research, like they've done cool work, but
no, but to your point, that's the goal of academic research, is usually to fund more research, right?
Yeah. So this seems promising in that regard.
Yep, definitely. And hey, personally, I'll just take it as Chris said, and I was right. I mean, we have receipts on the channel, right? Like this, you know, I mean, to me, it just felt naive. Like this is exactly what you need to do. Is like you need to track their position somehow, because if you don't, then you're just leaving it up to hallucination.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. So moving on to the next topic.
This one I wanted. See, I was wanting to
go
keep
ahead.
going with this one. So you're gonna see I can't actually tell who originally made this. Everybody's making the same game, but you've seen 3 or 4 people claim they've made an RPG with 5.4.
Yeah.
Various people have said, "Oh, they just did it one shot." This person's being a little more honest and saying it would take multiple turns. But I thought it was a great time to bring up our favorite topic, which is Twitter, demos, and how in no world did you one shot this. Not because the AI cannot handle the logic of it, but because the AI is not generating those assets. So either you had an asset pack, you gave it.
To be fair,
sure, it's not generating these assets.
I mean, the reason I don't think it's one shot, it's hosted in the GPT 5.4 blog, right?
Yeah.
So the theme park simulation game and the Golden Gate Bridge flyover, they give you the prompt. For the RPG game, at least as far as I'm seeing, they don't give you the prompt, but they say, "Oh, you use a skill for image generation or something like that."
Yeah.
Like, so I think they're calling some other, I don't know if it's another model. Like, does 5.4 do native image out? I don't know. Unclear. Like, it does like a tool call and image.
If you're doing this on your own, I would not use OpenAI's models to do this for image gen. I would use it for the logic and all that. That's great. I mean, I got a little prototype of a 2D town generated. I did 48 nano banana calls and it took 20 minutes, but hey,
yeah,
it happened. You can do it. So 5.4 is a brilliant model that can handle the logic of this, but those bespoke character portraits, the tiles, those are all either individual generations or existing art pack.
But to be fair, that's kind of the promise of as they're pitching it more than just a coding model of it being a professional model. It's we're focusing on tool calls and agentic long running workflows. So it's it can use Playwright and you might go to sleep and then be like, hey, go run for 4 hours and go use Nano Banana to generate these things. And okay, Nano Banana is a tool call, and then I'll wait and I'll compile it and then I'll run Playwright and it'll take 20 minutes to go take a dumb screenshot, but at least it did that. And you can imagine in 6 months' time, then it's that dumb 20-minute cycle to take a Playwright thing will be actually useful. It'll be it's 30 seconds and it just got everything it needed and it can now understand it way better. The writing's on the wall for it to keep going, right?
Totally. You can imagine parallelization here, right? It might be that
my sub agent goes and it does all the art. It's going to be designing all the characters and it's going to work together with someone to write the story. And these are going to be the coding agents that are just running Playwright religiously and making unit tests and stuff like that. Jacob, you're still streaming.
Oh,
yeah, you said that.
I wanted to check the chat. I'm seeing somebody else check the chat because there's.
Yeah, I got you. Berkute Prime, welcome back. Good to see you. The Noble Rot says NVIDIA's World Simulator for robots essentially provides different camera views into the same world sim. That's true. And Temporary S8V, you're one of my favorite benchmarking channels. It's great to see the progress of AI tested so thoroughly. Thank you for the support. And we will continue to benchmark throughout the year. We're hoping it's an exciting year for model releases and agentic runtimes and so on. So do we have any other news to go through, or should we just go straight to building?
Chris sent some other ones, but Chris, were there any ones that you wanted to get covered here?
What else did I send you? Let's see. I've been in so many meetings today. My head.
I think there was OpenAI security, which I don't know.
Yeah, I was hoping Dylan could tell me something important about that, but no, I think those were sort of the novelty ones that came across this week. I don't know if you guys discussed the Anthropic, the latest sort of newsletter where people were having a moment because Dario seemed to imply there's it was 10 to 20% chance that the latest Anthropic models are conscious.
Yeah, by Dario's. I mean, how does one arrive at it's a 20% chance they're conscious?
Yeah.
You don't even have a definition of consciousness. 20% chance they're conscious.
Right.
So silly to me.
Yeah, that's the first I'm hearing of that. And
yeah,
that seems kind of arbitrary.
Remember when that Google guy freaked out in 2017?
Yeah.
Our model's conscious.
No, I think, and we've talked about it on the channel before, but I think you're going to have odd human outcomes long before these things are actually, if they become conscious, long before they are, right? You have people wanting to marry their 4.0 instance, right? That was a fun one you had.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, character AI and all that, like the whole like making it characters that are like like love stories and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, but the point of like AI psychosis, it's becoming more of a thing. Like Gary Tam being like, I can't drink because I need to sling 10,000 lines of code. Like honestly, I think like it's becoming more real. Like I think a lot of people are starting to use these things, and they're like, oh, like the exponential thing is kind of happening. And in real time, when you're kind of seeing it really like skyrocket, you're like, oh, this is real. And I think a lot of people are getting freaked. Like you're just
I think one of the odd outcomes as these models become superhumanly intelligent is that people will actually make interesting discoveries talking to their model. That will not be the dominant case. The 99% case will be that it took you down a rabbit hole and you became convinced of whatever you wanted to become convinced of, and it was wrong. So that's going to create this almost like gambler's instinct, right? Where you're like, well, God, yeah, I can just keep pulling that lever, and at some point I win, right? It's like the lottery, right? You may solve an interesting problem or discover something just by having this thing dig into something. It's probably not like a math or physics thing, but like look at all the small wins in literature review for academia, where the reality is that no one in a given field can read all the papers. Not even Jacob with 3D generation and AI. Like you can't read everything that gets released in a genre, especially as it heats up. So being able to have something look across silos and look deep in every silo, you are going to find weird novel things. And I think those win moments are going to fuel a lot of AI psychosis, where people are like, God, this person discovered something. I'm just going to go deep on this.
Yeah. I keep seeing this like undercurrent of like, how everyone's talking about an underclass. There's a thing of like, you got to try and like, upskill enough so you don't get permanently one shot and be like the one shot class that you just see something that just like, you're like, I'm an AI psychosis now. So like, yeah, it's going to be an interesting space. But I think like the macro point here is that these things are getting very good, very fast across a range of things. As Jake always says, the rub is it's general. And so now, like, as we said, even in the Codex app, you can basically like make presentations, make slides that could actually like inform business decisions. And that's just like, calling the raw model. It's not even ChatGPT with like all the other cool UX and design and stuff like that. So I think throughout the year, as more people kind of start to play with these things, like we're still so early, right? Like we are a benchmarking channel, tech professionals, and we're like, whoa, it's crazy. Just think about like when it really hits mainstream towards the end of the year, it'll be kind of.
And the dimensions you can get one shot of are general, right? So
it
could be that you want an emotional connection, and your AI character just gets that need, and you're like, all right, well, I get one shot at that way. Or you could think you're a genius, like the one VC guy, and be like, I've discovered the underpinning structure of reality.
Oh my God, yeah. He was the first one to fall.
That was a Founders Fund guy, right? Yeah, if I remember right. He but like it's so I think people think they're protected because they look at the other ways people get one shot, and they're like, oh, well, I'm not on the internet trying to look for emotional connection with my AI, therefore I'm fine. It's like, no, but you might think you're brilliant, and that just becomes another avenue.
Please
or
make
you might
$1
be looking
million
at AI generated video. Yeah.
So we'll watch this space. Now, should we start building? Or
is it build time?
It's build time. So let's switch over. Do you want me to switch into Codex first, and I can kick off? Do you want me to do Serverville or Planet?
Yeah, I would say like start getting Serverville set up. I kicked off the Planet.
Great.
So I kicked off the Planet here. And so this is our V2 prompt. So it's building a full repo. We've got GPT 5.4 extra high, burning some credits on this one. And so as always, we're asking for a planet with like, terrain, biomes, atmosphere, oceans, all that kind of stuff. And then I added a little thing at the end about like build the most extensible, robust foundation. Like we want to turn this into like a multi-planet. Like our challenge mode keeps ascending the ladder of difficulty here with Planet, which is one of the reasons we love the test, because as models get better and better, they often solve existing tests. And so the Planet test is really just like eventually just procedurally generated universe, like full No Man's Sky plus, right? So we'll see how far we can push it here and how much it's able to do. I can even I'll let Dylan explain what he's going to get kicked off as well. But then if we're sort of in a state where both are working, I can show off what 5.3, I think it was 5.3 Codex was able to do on a super challenge mode of the planet prompt, which is super impressive. And it basically got to like a solar system sim with multiple planets and moons and first person controls and everything. So excited to see what 5.4 is able to pull off here.
Heck yeah. Have you guys used the APIs for like OpenAI and Anthropic? I know you've used OpenAI and Anthropic. Have you guys used Google's API?
It's
in what way?
So I was calling it to generate assets for this little like RPG demo because I was intrigued, right? My specific complaint here is OpenAI and Anthropic, great dashboards. They tell you your usage second to second. You can refresh the page, see what's happening. Google will tell you, oh, yeah, you did 40 image gens. I'm like, cool. What did that cost me? Oh, well, usage takes 24 hours to generate. Like in 2026, you can't tell me what the cost of that was?
Google is it's actually kind of a travesty here.
It's horrible. You also can't hit a hard spending cap.
Yeah. I saw that too. I mean, also having the fact that you can't set limits in Gemini API is absolutely insane.
No, it'll send you notifications. You can set up a billing usage notification, but it won't just like hard cap it.
You can't hard cap it. It's actually insane. Like you have to like go get a You
basically I knew there was like billing limits, but there's no way. That's insane. Okay. Okay. And well, let me tee up the serverable prompts just
on the Google thing. The other thing I'll add is they have a batch API, and this might have changed, but like, I was setting up a batch API for my own sort of like, personal benchmarking harness, so I could save 50% on the massive requests that I was doing. And they don't have a UI to like see the batches that are currently running, which is just like table stakes. Like a UI to start a batch run, see the batches that are running, anything like that. So it's just like fully API land. I mean, and like OpenAI, Microsoft, Anthropic have had this for years. So it's shocking to me.
Yeah, that's worrisome when the next Google model comes through.
On it, right? Every time somebody complains about the Gemini API, it's like on it, and then nothing changes. I mean,
how does that go with responsible AI, Dylan? I must know.
Just don't even get me started. In the meantime, so we're gonna have multiple prompts running throughout the show, just because these things take a while. I did run it on Medium so that we can get an output from this. So what we're doing, if you are a very old school watcher of the channel, we used to run a prompt that was called Serverville. We wanted it to generate a game that was Farmville inspired idle management game that players would like basically manage a GPU server farm. Back then we were like, oh, this is like constrained enough that we think we'll be able to like see something cool. And then eventually we graduated onto doing like 3D because it was getting harder, and that's a better way to like see how like understand things. Anyway, we are going back to our old school prompt for Serverville. I just took the prompt that we used to use that's like still hosted on the channel. Sorry. And at the top, I've also added a little call out to see if it can invoke web search. That we run a YouTube channel called The Feature Crew. And if you can, like look at our old videos and stuff like that. So I'll see throughout if it's able to actually like inspect. I think it's kind of just, it definitely did, like if you see here, it searched the web, and it found one older publicly indexed Feature Crew video that references Serverville, a July 2025 episode about iterating on Serverville's user experience and isometric graphics. I'm going to treat that as the reliable design I can build around a bold isometric AI dev tooling aesthetic rather than inventing details I can't verify. So just as an example, like we're not expecting a great Serverville thing. I could probably make a better prompt now, given that these things are so much better. But we just want to kind of give it the prompt, see what we get out of it, and also incorporate some web search. So we're excited for both Planet and some kind of Serverville game. And then checking chat. John Doe, welcome back. Der Streiber, welcome back. Good to have you all here. And then everything else. overall, I like that Google still has instruction-style prompting. Other than that, ick. Yeah, distro. I'm guessing you're saying yuck about Gemini and stuff like that as well. And Kirko297, I think you can get better result for the planet prompt if you can build it layer by layer. That's true. We probably will do multi-step prompting. In fact, as part of our new benchmark, that is exactly how it works. We start with a seed repo that's empty, and then we have multiple issues like add this, add this, add this, add this, like, and then we can check each kind of delta. So we will be doing that soon. We demoed it last week on the live stream, but
and
this
on
is
the
more the
planet
practical.
prompt, there's like you want to do certain things layered, but you also want to give it an idea of what it's doing up front, right? Because like you can imagine if it's just trying to make a single planet, that architecture is very different than if you want, let's say, like, you know, a city on the planet or multiple planets or a really large planet that can't all be loaded at once or a solar system or a galaxy, right? And so this time when I ran it, I tried to like give it the normal prompt without city, you know, without any of the challenge mode stuff, but with a direction of where things are going. So hopefully it will like do the necessary architecture things to set it up for the future, but also be able to layer things on. Figuring out the sort of like size chunk of the prompt that's correct at this point is still like, at least for me, every new model has a different like level of abstraction that you want to prompt at, and so I'm still kind of getting the vibe of 5.4.
And then just given that this one's kind of like a testing thing, we'll show the steering. If you are during a long running request, you type something in, this will be queued for something that it will run after the fact, but you can also click steer and it will go ahead and add that kind of like to its thinking. Right now you can't really see, but it is actually calling Chrome. It's basically opening like a tab and stuff like that. Now I realize it's not going to be a great result because, well, actually we'll see. I'll check for you.
Hey, don't.
We're using. I won't spoil it. But it says the deliverable we gave way back when, this was like, late 24, early 25, was a single HTML file because that was the only thing it could do. So it's going to be a single HTML file because when I was like looking through, I don't know if you saw my face, but I was like, index.html, 1900 lines. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
So let's see.
And then did you see John Doe in chat? I don't know if I missed that. Dylan.
Oh, Dylan's gone. He heard the
message. Dylan's gone. Well, anyways, I don't know if he already said it, but John Doe, welcome back. Thanks for joining. John Doe says he's got to watch back after the stream since he got here late. But welcome. You didn't miss that much.
We're getting into the good stuff.
Exactly. Did Dylan say something wrong about GPT 5.4 and it shut him off while it had access to his computer?
Dylan needs to stop using baby computers and buy a real desktop rig.
It is fascinating to me that my senior engineer friend has a MacBook Air that can barely run this stuff.
That is gasping for air.
It's literally gasping for air.
I had Nano Banana generate 3 levels of server for us. I'm going to rip those into. If anybody in the chat has a tip for making transparent backgrounds in Nano Banana, I'd love to hear it, because every time it tries to do the pixelated grid that shows up in a transparent PNG, and it tries to draw that, so you end up with like a poorly drawn grid in the background.
I mean, you could always just ask for like a black background in blend mode to add it. It depends on what you're trying to do.
That's what I did. I pulled it into a white background, just dropped it in Figma, and ripped the background out. But
we've got some more activity in chat. Kirko says they're using it to make a FTL like game. FTL's great. That's awesome.
Nice.
Definitely tag us if you post the result. I would love to see it. But then temporary S8V says true consciousness means that it can write to itself, at least in addition to the modeled intelligence. What do you mean by write to itself?
Hello.
There he is.
Oh, Dylan's back.
I'm back. Dude, I am going to have to investigate this. There is some interaction that seems to be happening when it keeps launching like Chrome DevTools and how I have Riverside. This is probably like an offline chat. Anyway, it basically like I hear and see you guys, and then I'm just gone. I'm like, what is going on? So apologies, folks. It basically started opening a lot of tabs, and I think it's essentially overriding the like Chrome stuff I use. So apologies. But do you want me to go back to sharing my screen, or are you going to show off your Planet Sim?
I mean, it's probably more interesting to see the planety thing here. So I'll pull that up.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
I mean, it's the GPT is still working. 5.4 is still working on its planet, but I will show you what 5.3 was able to do with many prompts as a sort of baseline of like, okay, if we can get it to beat, if we can get 5.4 to beat what 5.3 did in the duration of this live, that's huge because it took me definitely longer than a single live stream to get this done. Although this was less than 1 5-hour quota. So, wait, can you say this? Did that share correctly?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, cool.
Can see many different planets.
Yeah. So we're on a planet. We've got the clouds coming by. Then we've got a planet and a moon up there. And I never really had it spend a lot of attention on the NPCs here, but so they're just kind of like balls that wig out. But so obviously I can like run around. There's water. There's terrain. And then if I pilot the ship, I can fly out of the atmosphere. And if I look this way as I'm flying away, you can see that like the LOD is reactive, right? So the planet kind of like de-reses as I fly away, which helps keep it sort of manageable for the computer to run. My computer is definitely, I don't know if you guys can hear this like airplane takeoff situation.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, I can. Just slightly.
Okay. Well, apologies. But between the Riverside live streaming, both my camera and the screen, and then this also running like a solar system, it's, it's definitely struggling.
Understandable.
So but it is a MacBook Pro. So we were dumping on your MacBook Air while you were gone. We were like, the most technical guy here has got a lightweight computer.
It has served me well. One X Silicon, it does well, dude. It's a powerhouse.
Yeah,
this is impressive. Wait, so this is the second
right in Riverside at the same time.
Well, yeah, I honestly don't know what happens. Like, I think there's some. I'll actually investigate it. I'll like look at like the crash dumps and stuff like that.
But here we are. I mean, this is.
Whoa.
I fell out of.
Oh no!
Oops.
You're just gonna fall straight to the planet.
This is the best moment of the demo.
You are you at terminal velocity?
It's unclear how fast I'm going.
You're going at like 10 units. Can you sprint right now? Will that increase your speed?
Yeah, doubled it.
That's a hilarious gameplay mechanic. Fall faster.
Full faster.
It's like the Kirby rock move.
Speed run strat. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well,
All right.
not bad. Does this have any like LOD?
It's interesting. Does it have LOD? Yeah. So if I reset it real quick, and then get over to my ship.
I still love
the This was the pre-built thing. I want to be like, this is not what was building in the background.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you see it.
Yeah. Kind of raising out. It's kind of cool.
Right. And it is a little subtle, which is like what you want, right? Like super visible pop in and out.
Yeah.
But
this is cool. This is really cool.
These are pretty large planets. Like we should have a try count here. It doesn't. It has like a mesh count FPS. I mean, the other thing is it's running like this is running at like native, whatever they call it, Retina display. This is like almost 4K resolution, and it's running at 120 FPS. That's another reason that my computer was freaking out because it's like But it is impressive, like a multi-planet solar system running at 120 FPS, pretty smoothly. At 4K is like it's pretty awesome.
Bad. Yeah. And then so I have a result for Serverville. First problem.
All right, let's see it.
Oh boy.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna go back to resharing codecs because the web search that I added was very, very bizarre. So it built the game after about 10 minutes. This is on medium reasoning effort because maybe we can change it to be not just the HTML file. but it talked about, hey, I searched YouTube and I found an RU clips mirror of allegedly of our video. So going to that like reference, which is kind of dodgy, but I've checked it. I'll now show you what you get by following the link that allegedly is going to our video. I will just go this. You get, hopefully you can see this. You get Harry Styles' American Girls as the reference you get by following what is allegedly our video in ruclips.net.
So you're saying Harry Styles is stealing views from the feature crew? That's what I'm hearing.
That's yeah, seems like it. So I don't know what's going on. I clicked copy link and it takes us here. Again, I'm pasting it again. I made it so I could vibe code anywhere. Maybe this is just like not editing it and it just direct links to Harry Styles. Who knows?
Wait. How did you get to this? Sorry, I looked away for a second and we've got Harry Styles.
I got to this because this is allegedly the reference it used when it found the feature crew. So what I'm saying is the web search kind of like that the reference at least has something to left something to be desired. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But here is servable. It is, slightly better than what we used to get. It's
slightly better, dude.
I mean, I should probably say probably a lot better. Like, there was the roller coaster sim game, right? And I was like, this looks very similar. Whoa. Okay, this is way better. Like, even like, and look, he's got next tip. Switch to the GPU tab, pick a tier, then click a rack. I'm probably just stupid. Where's the GPU tab? Do I have to like open
I think it's in build bay.
Build bay? Yeah,
at the top.
Okay, GPUs. Okay, Gen 1.
It's only half
Gen
as
2.
confusing as the new marathon menu, so you're fine.
Oh, this is cool. So I can't place GPUs here because there's no racks. So I'm assuming I need to put the rack.
This is really cool that it actually
understands
semantics.
Did you see that? It went fully red when it was like, overheating. Presumably because of like, I don't know, like a overheating event. Place a C-rack before
is it an event or you don't have cooling?
Keep it cool. Place a CRAC.
Okay, I'll put it close to the rack. Ooh, okay. This is actually kind of sick.
This is so much better. It's
so much
kind of cool to like have a test that we ran a bunch in the past, but then haven't run for a while, and we can
expand power trunks, set your kilowatt ceiling, brownouts auto throttle the farm, upgrade trunk capacity before stacking more GPUs. Can I get it through utilities? Yeah, that makes sense.
What is
AK
the
cache?
brown colored tiles on the left?
I don't know. I think there's also a little bit of sound. I don't know if it's coming through, but it's like click, click. Oh, and then CW.
Work the events. Watch the notification bar. Flash sales, failures, hot days.
Selected unit, center. I don't know. Can I go like this and then it centers or something? No. Okay, we got a power surge. We got a pool bonus going on this bay. Something's happening. Next tip. Dismiss. Okay, that doesn't work. But
what's the red one?
This?
Yeah.
This is allegedly a power trunk, which increases, I think, your cap on like kilowatt hours or something.
Oh, okay.
Bring net profit to $1,000 per hour. So what are we at? We are at
36.
We are now native because we have GPU failures. Okay. So let's go back to building. Can I put more GPUs in the same rack? Okay.
Yeah.
So this rack has multiple Gen 1s. Autofill cheapest.
Oh, and you can see it on the right.
How much cash have we got? Enough?
This is kind of awesome.
I can just...
Can you do that infinitely?
Well, until you run out of money, right?
I don't know if you can hear, but this is an
up.
awesome sound. Like, it's giving me an error sound that I can't do that anymore. So this rack looks like it's maxed out. Can we add any to this one? It's going to increase our heat. Okay, this one's maxed as well. You can see our income net per hours, drifting up. Cash is 4.7. Let's see. Has our cash gone up? Or does it just take a while for the hour to rip through? Let's see. Oh. So some of the buttons are not working. So we could try and fix that.
Yeah, it's fully capable of fixing that.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah. So I think the time ticks or something is just maybe there's something. Could entirely be me being dumb and not knowing how to play. But yeah, I mean, this as like a one-shot single HTML file is very good, much better. Like, it's a great comparison point because this is what we used to run, and this is so far better than anything we used to get. So yeah, cool stuff. So I'll give it a follow-on prompt now.
What do you think the follow-up is?
I wanted to fix the buttons so that 2 and 4 times save and settings work. I might even say, hey, like, can you, like, just because I want to see if there's like an image gen tool native, I'll be like, hey, use image gen, create some like image assets. Yeah. Maybe I'll be like, make an avatar that teaches you how to play or something to see if it can do the Fire Emblem-esque game, called.
You could even give it like a 10x. Make this a 10x more engaging game. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. We'll add that in as well.
Add multiple data centers, a map view with multiple data centers. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll tee something up. Do you have anything to show?
Anyways, but I can pull up. We got a response back for 5.4's Planet.
Nice. And just in the chat, John, though, Endgame for Feature Crew is actually a gaming watch-along channel. You're so right. It's actually, we're just going to be building games one day.
Join us as we slowly become game streamers.
Disturber must have hallucinated a random valid link. Yeah, I assume that was the RU clips. It's just really weird. Like, I thought it searched YouTube. That's what it said in the tool calls. I wondered, like, let me see in codecs. I can't. Oh yeah, you can check. So yeah, I don't know. I must have hallucinated. So it did search for IU clips. So sus.
It's
I can't actually inspect the web.
It went to. I didn't even know RU clips existed. It looks like a Russian clone of YouTube.
It does. It's not very good. Anyway, let's see.
Alrighty. So here we are on 5.
Ooh, the old spiky planet results. Classic.
Although it's not that spiky. I mean, like, we've had. Oh god.
Whoa.
We've had way spikier in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I like how the train looks.
Train detail. It's just like a little exaggerated. Like, it's not one of those like spiky balls we get in the past. I'm actually quite impressed by, like, it clearly used like a bunch of layers of noise here. And like, yeah, you can tell, like, in here it's too spiky. Obviously these things are like these like long thin ridges, but like control.
Dylan, we're getting some ASMR keyboard, my boy.
That's just me when I'm locked in. I'm burning tokens. Sorry.
But anyways, it is a little bit. You can see the LOD, like it did do like a LOD thing, right? So if I zoom in, you can see like those grid lines kind of get
yeah.
If I zoom out, right now,
do we have any water? I guess we do. Yeah, is the water moving?
We have water.
Yeah,
I'm impressed by the sort of detail of the LOD, but I think there is an issue where, like, if you zoom too quickly, it like super stutters. But I think in first person that would be, if you have like a maximum speed that you can fly around, then it might be better. But you'd probably want to defer those LOD calculations. So, like, if you're outpacing the LOD, somehow you just get there and the mesh is too low res instead of like sort of slowing you down, right? Yeah, not a bad result at all.
That's a great result. Yeah. No way. Yeah.
Especially because
I really like the terrain. I mean, it's definitely some good looking terrain.
Yes. And the controls are like a little bit screwed up as we've been used to, like inverted, I guess. Yeah, they're inverted.
Yeah, that's a really odd behavior. The models routinely do that, like across providers.
Yeah, part of the reason is because like rotation and like and even just like position axes are like sometimes flipped in different, like, between like Unity, Unreal, 3JS, like all these different things. They don't all have a universal, like, this is what the x-axis is, this is what the y-axis is, this is what rotation means. Sometimes positive is clockwise, sometimes it's counterclockwise, and so the models get super confused, which is unfortunate. I would love to see that solved somehow. The clouds look solid.
Oh yeah,
I don't think they're the best clouds we have, but they're by no means the worst clouds we've seen.
The Axes designation is a very hot debate on like 3D art Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Do you like Blender? Do you like Unreal? Do you like Maya?
I would say this was like a pretty good, like, I mean, 5.4 is obviously staying out, but I would say it's like one of the best that we've seen. Like one shot. Wait, is that like LOD? By
Yeah.
default? Yeah, nice. And I'll like squares.
So is your prompt off?
Yeah, I sent it off, so I can go through and
Yeah, go talk about what you were doing, and I'll cook up
the next prompt. Yeah, look at us learning how to coordinate a live stream. Okay,
Chris, I hope you're
so in
still watching
Codex.
chat.
Yeah,
it's
let's know
checking
this.
back.
Awesome. So I gave it a pretty simple prompt. I wanted to ensure the buttons work properly, which is a very concrete thing to fix. And then I said, I want you to use ImageGen to create some cool static assets. I want you to create a mascot or NPCs. I literally said, make them anime style. That also helps broadcast the tips and makes the game more engaging, leaving it open-ended. I tried to constrain it as anime style so that it doesn't go off and like assume it's like some like crazy shit. And honestly, I feel like a lot of the image models were made for like the anime style stuff. Like every time I see like a game and they're like, oh, look at the assets we made, it's anime style. So I hope that gives it the best possible chance. If I was like, oh, make it like a 3D Skyrim NPC, it's cooked. I just think it's going to blow up. And then please don't pass to make this over more engaging. So I wanted, and I also made a relaxed constraint of a single HTML file because it'll all run. I didn't realize that we still, well, I mean, actually, in retrospect, it's very obvious, but, you know, self-contained HTML file was much better when we were doing this in like late 24, early 25. Back then, keeping context across files was hard.
Yes.
Now we're like, go one shot this massive project and it'll go create like 15, 20 files in a harness. And we just like, damn, why didn't you run fast enough? Why didn't you choose my like preferred, like, you know, build system? It's kind of insane.
We got some comments from chat. Dare Streamer, do you know if there are any Planet demos in the internet pre-LLM that the LLMs could have been learning from? Just wondering for comparison reasons. There are definitely some Planet demos out there.
Yeah, but not many. Like pre-LLM, it was like a really cool thing if you did a Planet. But yeah, there's a collection of them. If you're curious, like pre-LLM, I mean, I consider myself a part of the procedural generation community, and one of our beyond just obviously Minecraft and No Man's Sky and those the high profile people. Sebastian Legge on YouTube is awesome and goes step by step through how to generate a planet, but he also does a bunch of other like sort of data driven programming, simulation style coding challenges. He's got this incredible video style. He like produces these very artistic documentaries, so it's like interesting technically, it's interesting artistically, and he's super. So big shout out to Sebastian Legge. If you don't know him, definitely check him out. He has no idea who I am, but tell him I sent you. Maybe he will.
Exciting.
John Doe says it's actually a pretty good response. You can 100% see that in a spore or something like that. I think this is glitched, but it feels like it's from a game. Mountains casting, moving shadows, etc.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got when I was like just flipping over to look at it. Like, I think 5.4, it's kind of weird that some coding elements we would note, and this is just purely subjective, but some coding things we're like, why are you making that choice? But the taste for some reason is getting better.
Yeah.
And maybe that is broadly that it's working to be more quote unquote professional. And that means you want to prioritize like good decisions or things that like look and feel good. It's very vibes based, but like it just feels like it's making kind of cool decisions. I agree. Things are looking a little bit more like actually usable and not just like a vibe coded mess. Like I know we always joke with like, make no mistakes, make it production ready, but kind of ironically, it is getting better. Like a lot of these like assets that it creates are like, oh, hey, I could actually show this off and not be like embarrassed. Whereas like some other models, it's so clearly vibe coded. They're like, you did this with an LLM.
Yeah.
But the slides we generated yesterday, I was like, we could show those and people would be like, wow, that's really cool. How did you generate those slides?
So the Noble Rot says height mapped noise wrapped around a sphere is kind of a hello world at 3D programming.
At Jacob, is that true?
Oh, sorry.
Height mapped noise wrapped around a sphere is kind of a hello world of 3D programming. So like a lot of people have done height mapped terrain in a sphere as
Oh yeah. A lot of people have done that. When you start getting into like LOD and actually make and like the deep atmosphere stuff, like that's where it starts to get a little. That's where like you need to go to a Sebastian, or at least that's where I learned about that stuff back in the day. Yeah.
I'm waiting to see when some of Jacob's old projects he can just point one of the models at and say finish it.
Oh, that's the goal. That's the goal. I have like a half-finished sort of No Man's Sky clone thing, like somewhere between No Man's Sky and Minecraft. And me and my buddy who were working on it together, you know, recently we're talking about like, yeah, it's only a matter of time before we can just have an agent finish this thing and release it.
Dude, that's actually a great idea. Like, it's probably soon. Whoa, Codex is making progress. It might actually finish it. It just pops up the like this plan at the end. I did it all. Okay. It has.
Dear Straber, taste is just trimming the possibility space.
This is true.
Yeah, I can't refute that. That's a wow. We should just like one line of that. We'll put that on like maybe we'll put that on merch. We still need to get our merch store up, but taste is just trimming the possibility space. I like that. Anyway, let me get up the result for this. And Jacob, have you gone ahead and put in the next prompt?
Yep, I'm asking for sort of improvements to the issues we noticed with terrain. I'm also asking for, I just went straight to challenge mode. Props, first person. Yeah, the whole deal.
Look, there you go.
Okay, here we go.
There's our crew chatter.
We got
Aiko.
So okay, it's very clear that this was like a bad SVG. So I don't think it's actually calling. Maybe
you're also price surging constantly in the bottom left.
Yeah, it kind of is what it is. But okay, well these work, and then we have Ren as well. A market scout, install compute, keep it cool, expand safely, watch the events. Okay, and then can just go 2, 4. Okay, so it looks like it's done the thing of making the buttons work, which is great. I think let's see, like all the other things still seem to work.
Ooh, we're getting audio this time too. Look at that.
Are you getting audio? Great. Yeah. The audio is nice. Like if I try and install GPU, listen to this, it doesn't work. Nice. But then you try and add the cooling, it works. Utilities, let's add a power trunk right here. Nice and clean. We can add another rack. Let's put it right here. GPUs. How much money I got? I still got enough. Can I buy one more rack and slow up some GPUs? Let's do it. I guess I'm out of money. Now let's put it to 4 times. Let's see. The cash is going up. I don't know. 744. I'm trying to run quick math. Is it actually like? No, okay. It's faster than I thought. I'm like, is this seriously real time? But I think it's running a lot faster than that.
Do we in the chat, beyond the front end design skills from Anthropic, have you seen any other skills that improve front end and UI design tastes? My answer to that is not that just you slot in and they get better taste necessarily, but a lot of the integration with Figma's gotten a lot better. So you can pull in designs and get it a lot more one-to-one if you wanted to. So they started with sort of the Figma MCP, and now they've deeply integrated with Claude Code and I think Codex now. So you have a skill in Codex where you can hook it into a UI. So if you have a UI that you think is tasteful, it can replicate that well. Getting it to generate with taste, at least in my experience, has mostly just been let the model roll and see what happens. I don't know if you guys.
Sorry, not to distract from this question, but have we talked about ICO yet?
Yeah. We were like, it's an insane SVG.
Okay, we did. That's what I was.
Poorly generated
yeah.
SVG. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see me like kind of drag around, but it's just a fully generated SVG. So yeah,
Very
clearly it's not
Pelican
calling
on
an
a
image
bicycle.
shape model. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
so
it's
impressive that
not-
it was like, oh, I need a graphic. Okay, I'll just SVG it. Like, I love that.
Yeah, it's not. It's pretty cool. I will see. I don't know if there's like a tool like I can quickly share. Actually, I can do it for next iteration. So, do we want to do like another iteration server? I might be like, hey, like really crank it I'll just like let it see what it can build.
AAA game.
Or I could restart it.
No, you know what?
Yeah,
Sometimes I'll do.
AAA
I'll be
game.
like 1,000 hours of gameplay, just see what it does.
Also, haven't
Build like a
stopped the
stream.
aggressive flashing for our poor audience down at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah, that's a good point. So I will add some extra prompts. And Jacob, do you want to go ahead and take over and show off your codex?
I can. It's not. It ain't done yet.
We can leave on this if you don't mind.
Yeah,
flashing.
leave it on there. At least there's a visual. But as Chris mentioned, the flashing is upsetting.
It's a lot.
Please
John Doe
fix
asks, I haven't actually used the Codex app yet. Is it comparable to an IDE/cursor, or is there some other use case?
Oh, the Codex app isn't an IDE. It has a button to open whatever you want in VS Code. I think everybody's acknowledged that VS Code is just king, and so it's like either do you have a button to open it or do you do what Cursor did and fork it. But yeah, so Codex is more of like a they pitch it as like a control pane for agents, so you can like run local agents, background agents, cloud agents, all sort of in one spot. It is quite nice. I haven't used for some reason I haven't used the Codex VS Code extension. I'm pretty sure it exists, but I haven't used it. That might be better if you like Cursor and you like to be in the right in.
I do it in Cursor because I run out of my monthly Cursor tokens, so then I switch over to my OpenAI subscription and burn through all those.
Like
So I was just gonna show off Codex like as another thing that there are skills. So what we can do now. So if I continue on and I want to like say add the skills, like there is a develop web game, and that includes like a web game dev. I kind of want to. Like I might start Serverville again, but use develop web game skill to see how big of a difference there is. Because we're talking about this of like, it's kind of hard to know, like, do we want to be testing models with all skills enabled and so on? So let's go ahead and
to be clear, John Doe, this is the Codex app. So this is what
this is like. Exactly. So you've got what Jacob was talking about, like it's just a chat, but they also have skills and they have automations, right? So like you can, it's kind of like a more advanced but coding focused ChatGPT app. Is basically what it is, right? With integrations into like IDs and stuff like that, which is like normal people don't want that. They're like, well, what is VS Code? What is a commit? What is a PR? But if you're doing this, like making like coding stuff, I feel like it's like the best way to interact. Like better than terminal, because you can just like rip open a terminal at the bottom, right? So like just do all your Git stuff here, right? Like it's not gonna be Git repo, but you can do all your Git in the terminal. You can have this chatting, and then you can have all the skills and automations and stuff like that. So like it's pretty nice. But for this, I wanted to have a look to see they have a whole lot of recommended stuff. We try and keep it off by default to like actually just test the model. It's basically like calling the API. But you can see like, oh, reference official open API docs. So these are all kind of like MCP servers, right? They're going to say like, oh.
I actually like skills as a name much better than MCP servers.
Yeah.
Like I think this will be much more generally. I think they're going to call them apps or skills in the way that the general public starts to use them. Yep. So people aren't kind of coding native. It makes sense to like in ChatGPT, I think they do call them apps, right? And that makes sense.
I prefer tools.
I like apps because people are going to immediately go to that. That's what they use on their phone. They use apps.
Yeah, but then you have to start to teach this whole like, okay, so I use apps, and then is this for me or is this for the AI? That's kind of why I like the tools term, because it's like, okay, give your AI some tools.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's why they separate them in the Codex world versus ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, a lot of your users are more like, hey, can you go look at Zillow and, look up this house that I want, or look at these listings? Can you go order this grocery for me? And what you mean there is go use this app, right? You're like, go use this app to do something for me. Here you're like, have this capability as you generate this application for me.
I do think app is better for GenPub, but
yeah,
I struggle with the app word.
I like skills a lot for coding agents. I agree with that.
Yeah, the problem is skills has kind of been cooked as a term, because now often skills are like, like markdown files or something.
So that was my problem with MCPs is they're so vague that what I think a lot of users want is like, hey, is this a read write thing? Can I just drop this in and use it? And you're like, oh no, you got to actually put a markdown file in the skills folder. And you got to remember if it should be formatted a certain way for certain IDs or for certain age or certain models. Let's abstract all that.
So what I'll do is I'll basically give it a similar prompt, and I'm just telling it explicitly to use some of the skills, just as like a kind of example of like, hey, like how different does it look when it uses skills? So I wanted to use develop web game and imaging skills. I enabled a whole lot of other stuff like Sora and Playwright and so on, so it can go ahead and use what it thinks.
Dude, if it embeds a video, that's gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
The whole background is just a Sora video.
Yeah.
Can the Sora API still do like normally formatted videos, or is everything the TikTok?
No, I think it can. I think it
Okay.
can. They've just like depried it. I don't know. The API definitely can.
That was that was sad to lose the Sora website.
Yeah, for sure.
User and imaging skills.
That was a weird release for OpenAI in general. I'm like, do you really think you're gonna eclipse TikTok? Like, people are just gonna put the videos on TikTok, right? Like, what's the dopamine hit you want? It's usage, and like TikTok's always gonna crush your usage. You could be number one in the App Store for 3 months and you wouldn't hit TikTok's numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, and MCP, like, you know, Berkut's chime in chat. Like, I think MCP is like, it's like API or something, right? It's like, that is not a consumer facing term.
Well, it was such a moment in time thing too, because it meant, when it first came out, it meant a very specific, like, it's not even hosted by the company. You're just doing this, you're dropping this file in. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And then the companies quickly were like, actually, we'd like to control how this back and forth happens. We're going to host the MCP. And they're like, okay, what do we call that?
Yeah, I mean, that was the silliness with it all in the beginning, was like, yeah, when MCPs came around, it was like, okay, well, it's this open spec, and it still is, right? You can still, like, you know,
Sure,
deploy your own MCP, local, global, whatever. But
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, like the whole, like, OpenAI already had their it was like function calling, or I forget what it was actually called at the moment when MCPs came out. These terms change all the time, but like the idea of a company having its own hosted tool calling, function calling capability was like not new. It was like the open spec part that was new.
Yeah. Don't set that on stream. I guess actually OpenAI has usage caps, so you'd be fine.
Yeah.
If you put your nano banana key on stream, holy cow.
But it's using GPT image 1.5, and it does require a API key, which is fascinating. Why would it, like, you can rip usage on like 5.4. I does this really have like so much more like usage capacity?
Well, I think it's like an order problem, right? One 5.4 request can make 100 Sora calls.
That's true. But this GPT image 1.5 isn't Sora, right? Like, it's just like,
or sorry, GPT.
Right, but yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. I guess. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Like I would imagine sub agents to, I mean, not necessarily require an API key, but if you're saying, oh, your agent can now, like, for one request, it can spin up like 10 sub agents. Okay, and then they're all running in parallel, like inferencing at the same rate as your single agent was before. Okay, well now we're another order of magnitude up in terms of costs you're incurring. So yeah, you need the next level up subscription, or you need an API key or something like that.
Yeah. So maybe if I stop streaming, I could go ahead and like add the API key.
Do it. I can take over.
Yeah, if you take over, I'll add it, because I do have it. I think I have it in like outside this terminal. I just need to quickly test to see if I add it in this terminal, if it'll work. But yeah, let's do this fully off stream. I'm kind of a little bit worried. I think I'll like make sure I clear the terminal and stuff as well.
Okay. So it's not done yet, but while we're waiting here, I can like run through what I did. I didn't give it that detailed of a prompt. I just said like improve terrain, realism to scale, add a large variety of planetary props and biomes, realistic density, integrated into LOD. That's the hardest part of the prompt, I think. Add first-person controls, collection, inventory, ensure collisions work. I was just trying to think of like what I wanted to see out of this.
Full sent this.
And then test everything well, and
John Doe in the chat was saying, I remember thinking Sora launched too early. If it was Sora 4 or 5, it could have had a conversation, or you could have had a conversation. Sora 2 is rough. Yeah, Sora's definitely left behind. I mean, I don't know why you would ever use Sora in a world of VO or C-Dance if you can get access to it. But even like Kriya and some of these other ones have beaten it. I don't know what OpenAI's story is there, but I agree it was rough.
Yeah,
I think that's also a world where you would expect the Chinese models to keep dominating, right? Because they just don't care about copyright. They'll let you generate whatever you want. They'll copy fight choreography from anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Berkut, they grew confident would dominate the space. Yeah, I really don't get the Sora app as a TikTok compete. That doesn't make any sense. The whole history of social media is it's very, very hard to beat an incumbent at the same media format the incumbent had, right? You could make a great photo sharing app today, but you're not going to beat Instagram. You could make a great, I mean, even Meta struggles to beat TikTok, and they haven't, right? TikTok crushes Meta at short form video. And that's Meta with all the resources in the world and a huge graph they can pump it to. Blue Sky can't beat X for usage for the same reason. Even though they love to push those usage numbers, man. They started injecting Blue Sky posts into Instagram, and they'd count those as like views and usage on Blue Sky.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is still cooking here. We have,
So 1 of 4. Will it be done by the end of the stream? That's the real question.
yeah, and I mean, I think it just sometimes this is fascinating that it's become I mean, having a running list of tasks that it can complete while the agent is running to both give the agent direction and give the user feedback is something that let me put it this way, the industry has been talking about for quite a while. But the models still, like, I and people I know found this issue like a year plus ago trying to implement this same user experience, right? Where the models don't always update the tasks, even if they are following the plan and completing them, they don't always update them. And it's fascinating to see that these like debatably AGI models still can't remember to update their task list. They are very human in that way.
Well, the task list got weird eventually too, because then you're like, okay, you have sub agents, so now tasks are running in parallel. So the linearity of the task list is now sort of a lie. It's actually a parallel execution. So do you want to represent it linearly, or do you want to represent it some other way? But we're still on just sort of spinning. It's just spinners in a line.
And if you give me 2.6, it's created something, so we'll have a look. But okay. I'm just finishing the API key thing, so let's not project.
Oh yeah, finish that up. We got lots of comments in the chat. We got a good conversation. Berkut says, from my understanding, OpenAI tried to position itself as a whole ecosystem of AI apps all at once and underestimate the competition. I mean, certainly OpenAI is going for the everything everywhere all at once approach. There's not except for what? They haven't done music gen yet? Is that right? It's long rumored, but I don't think they've released a pseudo.
Yeah, they flirted with it, right? Like the audio model thing could be one form of music gen, but it wasn't good. And like the video models, like Sora can have music kind of in the background, but it's like not great, so it's like it's there. Maybe they're just waiting for it to like generalize. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the biggest potential flaw in their approach is the everything everywhere all at once, trying to do it all.
The rub is it's general.
Will it be general fast enough for them is the question.
Fast enough for what? For Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the question, right? I mean, but it's like it doesn't. I mean, to like from my vantage point, like it doesn't really matter, right? If you want to win, like if you say that being a like narrow acquisition for the long-term winner is is not acceptable to us, then you have to go for broke.
I think it's just a compute allocation question, right? Do you try to get we talked about how the coding models generalize faster than the other models. So would it have been better to just triple down on the coding model? You probably still need image gen, but OpenAI's biggest thing is, for most of the world, they're the only AI company anyone knows about. Like, ChatGPT is AI to most people. They just call it chat.
They call it chat. Yep.
Like, they don't even conceive of Claude. Claude is absolutely like a tech industry phenomenon.
Yep.
And then apparently also Department of War phenomenon, but it's not something most people use. Gemini is not something most people use. So I think part of that consumer win drove some of that strategy too, of like, oh shoot, we got lightning in a bottle. We have the fastest growing app of all time. We got to go consumer, but also, holy shit, we have this coding era world that we got to dominate at too. And to be fair, they have, right? They haven't let a coding model beat them for very long. And so that dynamic felt pretty even. And I just don't know if the video and image gen sort of kept up with that. They're behind on both. I wouldn't use their image model for anything. I wouldn't use their video model for anything.
And okay, do you want to show this first, Jacob, or do you want? I see you got AR. Okay, it has something, but it's currently just running image gen. I finally got it working. The model was not necessarily hallucinating, but I was using the terminal inside the model, but it was like, hey, I can't even access that terminal. You need to restart the Codex desktop app. I was like, okay, and that fixed it. I should have known. It's a rookie mistake. I thought it was actually using the terminal, but anyway, I set the API key. I then
Okay, wait, actually, Dylan, can I grab this? Because I have to leave soon. And I want to make sure we get to show the planet result.
Please do. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
Okay.
I mean,
we got our fallen over tree phenomenon, right?
I'm not sure. Those might be cactuses.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to enter surface mode.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's a thin that's a low atmosphere. Or you're just a giant. You're just like a biblical giant walking around.
I am a biblical giant. I mean, I'll give it that a lot of this is quite good. I mean, there are some issues, but through multiple turns, you could work with it and get it to align things correctly. I'm impressed by the sort of lowest law detail level. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's a sort of a decision, but then some of the physics you can see are a little screwed up. Planet is rotating, which is fun, and I'm staying parented to it.
Sure is.
But anyways, I think that's as far as we're getting with this one here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, okay. Now I will. Yeah. You can give it to. I'll take it. And then after this one, we can probably
yeah, and I do have to run, but
yeah. No. Thank you so much.
Yeah, catch
thanks
you later.
For I hope I don't miss anything. Text me if I miss anything. Thanks for returning, everybody.
Well, traditionally, this is when something odd happens.
Exactly. So I expect some interesting texts.
Yes.
All right, I'll see everybody later.
All right, take care.
Take care. So we're just gonna finish this up. Basically, I don't think we're gonna fix the API key issue. It was seeing all these permissions about I'm gonna run arbitrary web commands. I was like, are you serious? Okay, I guess. I was kind of watching over, and it's kind of getting blocked. So I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. There's probably an API billing limit. That's I think I should have, but it doesn't matter. Some weird shit is happening, and now it's gonna go ahead and probably test on Playwright using it's done the create web app and stuff like that. It apparently is gonna fall back to some SVG mascot. So just pretend we have some beautiful code, GPT 1.5 image mascots that will eventually work. Again, kind of surprising that you need the API key. So it's going to build up your API key just to generate the images. But when that works, maybe next week, if we can find some use case. But it's getting close. So I think it's doing, it's saying the game loads, but I've already found one issue to clean up, and just for folks who haven't used Codex before, This is their like permission model. So whenever they hit a new kind of permission, they're going to essentially ask you, do you want to approve? Do you want to approve this session, deny or cancel? So a lot of this is just like, most of the time it's like MCP server requests. So I'm just manually approving right now because doing lots of like kind of weird shit. But usually the MCP servers that you pre-configure are like pretty good. So you can kind of do the, what's it called? Allow dangerous permissions or YOLO mode and so on. So we're just going to let it kind of do its testing. It's going to apparently catch some bugs. And then we'll see the final result for Serverville using the web game app. As a reminder, this is what we were invoking. So theoretically, this should give us a much different output because it's now using some kind of different loop. It's trying to implement, act, pause, observe, adjust. And it will be fascinating, given OpenAI is probably doing a lot of research in this. Some of their skills might be essentially injecting better prompt engineering. Like that is actually an important part of getting better results. Because I can imagine like most, I hate to say normies, but you know what I mean? Like someone who's not been like prompting a long time might just be like, please fix, as opposed to being like, hey, could you please run a test and validate this and blah, 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 blah. Like, right. I think there's going to be a thing where, in the short term, you need it to be prompted. And over the next like 2, 3, 4 years, then I'll be like, please fix, no mistakes. We'll actually do something meaningful. Because it's like, well, this like dumb human asked me this. Like, it will be kind of freaky that these things will be smarter than us. So we're going to say something and they're like, that's what they said. But actually, they want this. Yeah, that's going to be happening. Probably.
You're such a glutton for punishment for wanting to press 1 over and over again for the benchmark playwright.
I probably should just allow it. Like, I think it's just going to allow the bench playwright stuff. And this is fine. If it can run, like, it just keeps opening Chrome tabs. I'm like, that's fine. It is isolated environment. Ooh, it made it 10x faster. Design spec, apparently. Cool.
There you go.
And it's patching the timing models. Okay.
There's an earlier comment in the chat from John Doe. I think Chinese models will be more useful for casual stuff given the copyright ignoring. You'd hope Google would win objective realism with simulation perspective. That's their goal. Certainly that's that's the goal that DeepMind has proposed, is they want to solve world modeling generally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see it. I don't know if I would say casual. I might say entertainment. Because like I think you will get the Chinese models will be able to generate some really high fidelity like TV show, movie type assets, and I'm curious how all that nets out. You're starting to see the studios partner, and not with Chinese models per se, but with some of the American ones. So maybe this copyright thing's a blip. I don't know. But
Disney paid with OpenAI, right? Was that the...
Yeah, I think that's right. Cameron's on the board of one of the startups for video gen. I forget which one. James.
Isn't Cameron a Kiwi? Am I?
Yeah. I think.
Oh no. Did he do Lord of the Rings?
No, that's Peter.
Peter Jackson. I'm thinking Peter Jackson. I think Peter Jackson's the Kiwi.
Okay. No, Cameron's California, right?
Yeah. Let's mixing them up. For the stream, I am from.
Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry, Canada. Born in Ontario, Canada.
James Cameron or Peter Jackson?
James Cameron.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that's kind of close to New Zealand. New Zealand is to Canada. New Zealand is to Canada as Australia is to America. Is the way I always pitch it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Because Australia is much bigger, New Zealand's much smaller. Same, Canada, US.
You say Canada's more peaceful than the US?
Wow. For some reason, it's making very small edits. .js, like 333. It's okay. I'm applying the timing and UI fixes in smaller chunks. The file drift is from my earlier partial edits. I'm switching to narrow patches to keep verification clean. Okay.
See, the medium brain is given out here.
Yeah. I was hoping that we'd get something like slightly faster. But I mean, folks tuning in, like this kind of shows you how long 5.4 thinks, right? A lot of them were like, when we showed the blog post, it was all about, it can use tools and it can, like run for a long time. And even on medium effort, fast mode, with like a relatively decent prompt, like it's, we go all the way up. It's like use all these skills. it's just I'm just approving with all permissions,
Finally.
please. You're like the REI guy finally did it. He gave up.
He gave up.
You can browse it. Like next thing is like
It broke
arbitrary
him.
web permissions. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Anyway, yeah, we were saying like it runs for a long time, and like that's great. Like you can see that like the trend of hey, we want to be able to send off like I go to bed, I say make me a full game, and I wake up in the morning and it's done it. You know, it's spawned off
Right.
the sub agents. Some people are doing the art, some of them are doing the like story and so on, and it's getting closer. Now it's running for like 20, 30 minutes, even on medium.
And in that case, definitely do go to bed. For reference, I think our video on 5.4 took 3 hours to record.
Probably.
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
Like, because we put it on extra high because we wanted to test it at the limit.
Mhm.
And most of that call was just us doing this for 3 hours.
And this is
trying.
medium.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
we were able to get a lot faster results this time because I think the couple of prompts we ask are much harder. This is more like engaging for the stream. So anyway, it looks like it's getting closer.
Well, it does speak to like we're at this weird moment in time where the models at a baseline are extremely smart, but the it might be a broken record, but the plumbing, right? The plumbing is the next step. So can it hook into all the systems you want it to? Like, can it push things to where it needs to go? Can it read from where it needs to go? Can it generate assets over here, push code over here, deploy it over here, trigger GitHub actions? There's a lot of plumbing that's still happening. And that's kind of been the story in my world this year of users want what users will get in the next year or whatever, right? Is more of this plumbing working, regardless of who's front, right? Is just more systems working together. And so I'm curious how that changes the landscape. I'm curious, does that get to that build a game dream? Because
as an example, like this is like the skill, right? The skill is really supposed to be like enable some set of skills so that it will work better, right? Like imagine you are not as technical, like we know how to like enable MCPs and stuff like that, but you're like, hey, like I just want it to, okay, you can go ahead and delete all the code. Fuck it, at this point, just get it done. But if you don't know how to enable the playwright and stuff like that, that's what's giving it the ability to go take like browser screenshots, to go like look at the output and be like, I clicked the play button and it didn't work. Right. But that's exactly what you need for like a long running execution, right? Because it keeps like, you know, oh, I did this and I found an issue. Like right now, it seems like it's, I don't know why it's not being able to launch Chromium. Maybe I've got another, it's probably in use by itself. Often it doesn't like kill the existing Chromium browser. Anyway,
AGI achieved coordination.
AGI achieved.
Just like people.
Just like senior engineer, I was blocked. It didn't work. I couldn't get it done. You know, that's when it starts doing that. When it says, hey, can we hop on a 10-minute call? I think it'll be easy to just chat through it. That's when AGI is truly achieved.
Well, and exactly. And I think if we speak back to the sort of casual user, right? The person who calls ChatGPT just chat, right? They just know it as chat. They're asking about stuff. They're going to have the moment people who are coding right now have when computer use gets great. And computer use is not great right now. Like if you use computer use, it's very slow.
It's more like computer use looks freaky. I think there's a massive UX element there.
It's still not very good. It's slow. It doesn't understand the menus all the time. Like it's not feeling like I just pull up my desktop and go like, oh, hey, can you go do this thing for me quick?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Like, but what I mean by it needs to look smoother, I, as a human, like, don't like we should maybe do this as like a demo. I wonder if I can get on the Chromium tab. But like, let's say I get the task, like, you know, the task we run for our benchmark, which is like, go like look at the stocks and go look at this page. It'll like load the page and then it just goes boop and it goes all the way down and then it will just like randomly open like 3 tabs. I'm like, fucking stop! Like, I don't know what you're doing. Like that's
right. It looks like a traditional Hollywood scene where you're being hacked. Right, windows are popping up everywhere.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like the more natural thing is to go and like, I think I saw like a tweet that was going viral, but like, oh, the agents go to slow mode when the human is watching. But honestly, that's the kind of UX you need. Like, oh, you see the like cursor, I'm highlighting the value. I clicked this value. That's kind of what you want to see, right? Like, if anything, that like slows it down, but it gives us so much more security that, oh, it's doing this. Because when we operate the web, we're visual, right? Whereas like a lot of the time it's like, I don't need to take a screenshot.
There's a UX principle of this, which is that adding a delay in certain actions, especially like information retrieval actions, help you think it's working harder. So like,
Yeah.
I forget which app it was, but they had this regular bug where people would think it's not doing what they asked it to do because it came back so fast.
Yep.
So they added like a 3-second delay, and people were like, "Oh, it's great."
I remember seeing in like UX class as well, like it was something with the loading bar, like just adding the loading bar that goes like sequentially. It could finish in 2 seconds, but like, oh, just have an even loading bar, and sometimes even just add it like jumps, and it's like, oh, it was doing something. It was like delayed on X step, and they're like that like helps a lot. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be crazy when we need to add that for humans so that they feel like they can orchestrate and look at it.
There's streamer, move the mouse over the button, circle it a few times before clicking it. If I come down to that, there you go. No, there's definitely that with the load. The scrolling text is oddly comforting. So in the game prototype I built, it's doing a bunch of world generation. I did it horribly inefficiently the first time. Like I said, you should not generate 48 assets per build because your Google bill will go up, and it will take 20 minutes, right? It just sits there. But there's no progress, right? It just says like generating. And so you're going to your usage dashboard to see if it's hitting the APIs at all. So something about the text coming up feels like, oh, okay, it's doing a lot of stuff. Like it didn't freeze, it didn't lock up.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's come back. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna open this and find it, and then I will share. It's kind of let's see. I'm a little bit is this really? Okay, I'll share the screen, but allegedly it
Uh-oh. This reaction is really prompting me to be disappointed.
Well, it just, I think it basically just copied all the code for 27 minutes. It made a few different things. Like I can see that it's changed the font and like, but it's kind of made it worse than what it originally.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Like everything is like a little bit more like blocky and stuff. But yeah, it looks like I did it in the same project, and I was like, oh, I kind of assumed it would like, I said like start fresh, and I was like, yeah, I'm making a new folder, don't worry about it, and it lied. It even, the mascots basically the same but called Iris and Bite instead of whatever they were called before. So it's kind of been the smart thing where it's just kind of like, yeah, it just kind of cheated but changed it, like Brit.
And Dylan's gone, so it's just you and me, chat. We're hanging out. The MacBook Air has crashed again. And it's a solo stage. Dear streamer, I mean, I joke about that, but that's what people want. I mean, that is the fascinating world of UX, is that sometimes people do want the slower, dumber option or the perceived safer option because speed is scary. I'm always kind of amazed thinking about getting people to use generative AI at work. A lot of people really, really had a lot of reticence. So like on the design team, a lot of people had a lot of reticence to use an IDE, but they were fine in Figma. So when AI met them where they were used to, this is on the design side, but when AI met them where they're used to it, suddenly it's less scary. But when I have to pull it into this new environment, oh no, I'm terrified. Even though the actual interaction is the same, I still just ask for what I want. And it saw the comment, Serverville strikes again. Yeah, absolutely. Serverville is a cursed game at this point, but we'll keep building it, But if the AI meets you in the environment, suddenly it feels safer. Suddenly it feels like, oh, okay, cool. It came to my house. I didn't have to go to its weird house. So there's a lot of weird little UX-y things we're going to work out. Yeah, then slowly get into trouble. Yeah, totally. It feels controllable. I also wonder if I've been a long time hobby horse of mine on the channel is I think chat is overrated. I think it's just where we started. And a lot of folks are indexing like that's the last interface. I really don't think so. I think as the trust goes up in these models, you'll be more comfortable treating it like tasks or just sort of here's my to-do list, here's my Kanban board, here's whatever it is. Just assign it and have it go, and then you'll review the artifact. You'll give feedback more naturally, comments or whatever it might be. So I could see a world where that's the case.
I'm back. Did I fully die after 7 mil? I was literally talking through it because it's like I'm streaming, dude. There's something that happens with the like. I think
Burkoot said Serverville strikes again. It's a cursed game at this point.
I was literally talking the whole time. It's like you're stream sharing, and I was like looking. I was like, oh, Chris hasn't said anything for a while.
Chris was talking. Don't worry.
Let me. Oh man, I don't know. Let me kill this. Okay. Oh my goodness. I mean, you know what? Maybe I just go ahead and share this piece of shit.
Can you share it? We'll find out.
So basically, I opened. I think. Okay, I will fix whatever's happening. I don't know why it spins up different servers.
There you go.
Can you see this? It basically just made a worse implementation. So did you hear anything I said?
No. No. You like once you said you're gonna pull it up, it's just you're done.
Okay.
Cut off, kid.
So I was like streaming in like another thing, but it's basically it copied the implementation and made it worse. So like even though we said like, oh, be an isolated thing, it's like I'm making a new folder, don't worry about it. I wouldn't copy. It's like, you know, the meme where it's like copy my homework but change it. The mascots are now called Iris and Byte, but they're still SVGs. Everything looks basically the same, but they changed the font. And at the very least, if this is like, let's see, maybe this one works. Nope. Like there's no real, yeah, kind of. It's way more buggy than the previous implementation. Like it just looks worse. Yeah. There's no sound.
Welcome to the joys of vibe coding.
Yeah. Well, this was because I think it used a skill, and the skill was like trying to hamstring certain things. Like it kind of, you know, with the tool calling, sometimes it can go a little crazy when it thinks for too long. Yeah. Like it's like, I'm taking all these screenshots, I'm clicking buttons. I'm like, stop, just let me look at it and I'll tell you what to do. Yep. So that's the component of staring being really important. But in short, even with the skills enabled, it has copied, you know, a lot of the existing implementation. It could just be that this was the implementation like that it wants to make given the same prompt anyway.
I put like, net profit all the way down at the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. Brutal. It just made a lot of like dumb changes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's just
objectives.
The request, I think, of the other one as well.
Okay.
Like literally the same thing. Yeah, I think a lot of these were like kind of put into the prompt. So you know, like I wouldn't roll out using the skills. Like for example, the like imaging skill would be like a game changer. But sometimes for those like big skills where it's like, I'm going to add all these things and you're going to develop a web game. If you've put the time into actually thinking about like what prompt you're giving, it's probably not. Yeah, maybe we'll get a great result sometime, but I've used it in some other kind of hacky things. And every time I was like disappointed. Was we give it like a, you know, kind of one of our hefty prompts and we do some multi-turn and it's like fantastic. It made something really good. So I don't know, we will continue trying out the develop web game skill. But right now it feels kind of more like if you don't know how to do the web game stuff and you haven't told it like, oh, use this kind of setup and I like this and I want an NPM run. Like it's probably more for like normies who just don't know how to get it working out the box. And it just gives the model a little bit more ability to like use playwright and stuff like that. So maybe next stream we'll try like fully fresh. I think a problem with like Codex is like it's getting a little too smart. And it's like, I'm going to look for existing implementations. I found an existing implementation. Let me copy that. As opposed to like burning the tokens to like, I don't know, like, you know, create the files or whatever.
To what you said, I found that in my projects of you still want to do a proper build order, right? You're like, okay, we're like the prompt is not do the thing end to end. Even if you wrote a spec file and dropped it in your library or your spec folder in your code base, you're still like, okay, you want a build order. Let's do milestone 1, 2, and 3. And it does much better at that. It's very, very good at following those step by step. And then it can reason over the code base to do fixes, but even fixes, you kind of want to, it's still like a dev, right? You want to break it into reasonable PRs and test those PRs, feel like those are good and make progress. This was the hardest thing to teach people at work that have never touched GitHub.
Yeah.
Is like, you don't want to one-shot these things. You want to try to like incrementally improve the equivalent of save, right? You want to be able to, so, okay, I'm going to lock them. I'm going to commit that one. I'm going to push that. And now, okay, I have that. So now the screw up can be less costly. It won't nuke the entire code base.
Yeah, totally. Well, that was Serverville. This was GPT 5.4. In general, I think, like we said on our reaction video yesterday, you know, clearly state the art. like a couple of times it might make some like questionable coding decisions, but the like vibe is there.
Yeah.
Like the artifacts we're getting are so like you're starting to get like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like this could be like, I can see the elements of games coming through, and even comparing this to older models, I'm like, it's actually making real stuff that doesn't feel vibe coded. I think a lot of people in chat were kind of like alluding to that fact. So general vibe is like great. It feels like it's going to be a good workhouse model. The problem is you just got to get used to it running for a longer time. That can be frustrating when you're like, hey, it's going to go run for like, 20 minutes. Like you want to go make a cup of coffee or whatever. And, maybe if you put it on low think, it'll go way faster. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But even on medium fast mode, it was still taking 20 minutes to make a game like this, right? And it's not like a ton of code, like maybe 2,000 lines. So it's thinking a lot. It's calling the tools a lot, which is exciting. And as Chris mentioned, like, browser use and stuff like that, like computer use is not as good. Image gen still kind of like a little bit like, like GPT image 1.5 might be bad, but just imagine that eventually it's like nano banana tier, and OpenAI will catch up. Like it's just a matter of prioritization, right? Or like just like developing the right skill goal. And suddenly all of these things like can combine together, and you can make like awesome things. There'll probably be swarms of agents that like do different things and collaborate. You can see all of this accruing to that general, outcome where like you can just say anything and it will like figure out the way to do it. Like that's why this is like positioned as a professional model, not like the world's best coding model. Anything to add about the stream of 5.4?
It is also a really great coding model, though. I will add that.
Yeah.
Like they unified the models. You see that they announced like there's not going to differentiate 5.4 codecs from just 5.4. It's all one deal. But yeah, no, I think that's right. You're starting to see these models like you can feel the curve a little more now, right? I think we were always feeling the curve on the channel, just working through it, but it was so depressing in the early days because, I mean, I still take for granted that we don't get bad builds very often. It used to be when we were trying to record videos, it's like, well, we got to try the prompt for the 8th time because nothing was able to even appear on screen. And now we're getting down to, okay, cool. What appeared on screen I didn't like, but it generally was directionally correct. And now we're actually more directionally. It's 80% correct. Now I got to start tweaking it down. So it starts to feel like something you can really work with.
I mean, the fact that like just blast from the past serverville, when we used the old prompt, everything was in a single HTML file because it wouldn't work across context. Now we're like, one shot a full website or no mistakes. And we're like, just assuming it's going to work. Like, it's kind of insane.
Do you ever plan on doing a code review of generated code?
Dude, don't like this. Actually, this is what we've been talking about at work so much. I mean, in general, this is not just a Microsoft thing. This is like across industry. So we already couldn't keep up with code review, and now the deluge of how much you can make with AI, and it's 80% of the way there. It's like an open research question. I think there are proposals, but yeah, I mean, I think on the channel, I try and do like vibe coding. I'm trying to put myself in the space of like, let's use the models as they should be. And at work is a little different, but I don't have a clear answer for you. It's hard. It's much easier to like, I generated thousands of lines of code. And if I was to manually look through these, it would be much harder. Right. And then I can maybe, the thing is like, oh, use the LLM to help me identify the things I should review. But now suddenly I'm still doing a summarization ask. So I might be missing something that it missed that I should be reviewing. So it's a fascinating question. It's kind of like one of the biggest questions that we're asking, because like, as these things start to be agentic, it's like, should you just keep shipping to prod? So on the channel, all we want to do is ship to prod. We want to like show these things, and like that's what was concerning. Like we just want to see what these models are capable of. But when it comes to production scale stuff, yeah, it can be a little bit different. So watch the space. Like everyone in big tech is like talking about this, like on Tech Twitter and stuff like that. I've seen lots of proposals, but I think it's an open research question. And in terms of doing a research, like code review for benchmark, we have it doing like an LLM as a judge, and we'll have a code delta, so you can go through and look at the different pieces of code. So we intend to have code review as part of our ability to like programmatically, give a result for these things. So don't worry, we are taking this feedback on, and hopefully that benchmark will be out soon.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with that, I think we could say, hey, thanks everybody. We appreciate you spending a little Friday time with us. To our returning folks, you guys are our heroes. You guys make this happen. So thank you all so much. It's so gratifying that you find us entertaining enough. You come back every week. To folks new to the channel, welcome. We do this every Friday. So check back in for new models, new games, and weird little rabbit holes we go down. Watch the space is a Dylan quotable for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, folks. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we will catch you next week. We'll hopefully have some of the flagship episodes coming out as well. But otherwise, we'll be back live Friday.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.